Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rock from Smoke Q. Today, I'm making this open face sandwich. It's a tuna melt on rye that I do on the flat rock. I'm telling you, this one's super easy and you've got to check this one out. To get started on this delicious open face sandwich, first I've got to begin by dicing up and preparing all my ingredients that are going to be incorporated together in my tuna mixture. To get started, I begin by removing a stalk of celery, and then after washing it, I remove both ends with my chef's knife before slicing it long ways into 4 equal strips. This will help to create small pieces of celery as I chop it using a simple rocking motion with my knife. I'm working to cut the whole stalk into small, manageable, diced chunks before eventually placing it in a bowl so that I can get started on my next ingredients. With my celery ready, I grab 2 small Sweet Gherkins Pickle spears and start by slicing them long ways before dicing them into quartered chunks. After I have them chunked into quarters, I do go back over them with a rocking motion of my chef's knife over the entire pile to finally dice them before adding them to the same bowl that I put the diced celery in. Next, I grab my first can of tuna and use a can opener to separate the top so that I can drain out the water and then discard. Here I'm only showing one of the cans of tuna, but I did use 2 for this recipe. Once it's drained, I scrape the can into the bowl with the celery and pickles before next adding about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise to bind everything together. Feel free to use discretion and add more mayonnaise for a creamier finish or less for a little bit drier filling. Lastly, I add in roughly 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese to add just a little extra protein. And with all my main ingredients added, I'm ready to sprinkle on 1 or 2 tablespoons of my Rock's Anytime seasoning to give it some of that classic salt, pepper, garlic flavor. In a pinch, just add some salt and pepper to taste. With everything added, I give it a quick stir, simply looking to incorporate everything, being very careful to fold things together and not break things up too much. Once I see that I've got just the right amount of everything, I grab a fresh lemon and slice it into quarters before squirting on top of the entire mixture. This lemon is a key component to really brighten everything, so I definitely recommend not skipping this step. With the lemon added, I give it a final stir before a quick taste test to know that I've got my tuna filling just where I want it, and boom, we are ready. Now I'm ready to move over to my Traeger flat rock griddle and begin by melting a couple tablespoons of butter over a medium-high heat. I try to maneuver this butter around a decent surface area as I'm going to be placing 3 pieces of rye bread onto the melted butter. And after letting them crisp up for 1 to 2 minutes, I give them a quick check before flipping them over. I'm aiming for a slightly brown crust to start forming, but not a super deep crust, because once I flip the rye slices over, I'm ready to place my tuna mixture on top of that slightly crisped rye bread. The reason for crisping one side first is that this will keep the tuna fish mixture's moisture from seeping through and making the bread soggy. After building that first open face sandwich, I build the others on top of that crisped rye bread before then adding a layer of mozzarella cheese on top. Once I get the cheese added, I take a dome and place it over the top, both to steam the melting of the cheese, but also warm that tuna fish. To speed it up the process, I do place a little bit of water to create even more steam. After allowing them to cook for only 3 to 5 minutes, I check for doneness by looking at the bottom of the bread as well as the melting of the cheese. Once I'm there, I pull them off to a plate and let them rest only for a short time before using a fork and knife to cut in and get that first bite. Let me tell you, the flavor bursts from all the fresh ingredients and elevates that canned tuna. This is an absolute favorite with the family for a quick weeknight meal. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, you can really help by liking and subscribing to make sure you stay up to date on all the latest backyard pitmaster creations.